Hello everyone, welcome to Caltex Academy. Today we're looking at a unique and brand new topic under this quadratic equations. And in this quadratic equation, it has a unique form under this ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0 as the general equations. So there are four methods of solving quadratic equation. The first method being factorization method. And before you proceed with factorization method, you must be comfortable with factorization. If you're not, then please check out my channel to get factorization. I made videos on this into details. And then the second method is completing the squares, and then followed by formula method, and lastly graphical method will grand up everything. So today in this episode we're looking at factorization method as being the first method for solving quadratic equations. And before you proceed, please spare 3 seconds to like this video, share with friends, and subscribe to the channels so that you don't miss the future upcoming videos. And then without further ado, let us dive in the next board. So in these questions, if it says x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals to 0, we can go ahead and use factorization method to solve this. And then let's write it down here, and we will look at factors of 6 that when we add, it should give us exactly 5. Then when we multiply those two factors of 6 should get us exactly 6. What are those factors? We have many factors of 6, but we're just only interested in those two factors. So we can go ahead and say, okay, let these factors be 2 and 3, because when you add 2 and 3, you get 5. If you multiply 2 and 3, you get 6. So we're good to go with these two factors of 6. Now let's move on and write our x squared. Then we of course will use our two factors to replace what we have in the middle term, and that is 2x plus 3x, and in plus our constant positive 6 must be equals to 0. So after this one, we realize we have 4 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can pair them up to form 2 pairs. So what do we do with these 2 pairs? So we can factor out in each of those pairs something that is common. So we can check from here, x is common, and we're going to factor out this x, and then we're left here with x plus. So x has moved out, we're left with only 2. Then let's move on to this next one also, second pair, and look at the common factor here, that is positive 3. And then what we are left inside this bracket would be x plus 2, such that when you open up this bracket, you obtain exactly what is here in this. Now this gives us our 0. So let's collect the coefficient of this identical bracket to form a new bracket, and that is going to be x plus 3, and then we select one of these identical bracket in yellow, and we have it x plus 2. This must give us 2, 0. So after here, we will go to the properties of 0. When you have number a multiply certain number b equals to 0, either a can be 0 or b can be also what? 0. So applying this in this stage, we will have either our first bracket x plus 3 must give us 0, or our second bracket, that is x plus 2 equals 0. So let's solve these small equations, and then we get here, taking positive 3 to the other side, we have negative 3. Doing the same to the other one, we have here x equals to negative 2. And these are the solutions that satisfy this equation. So with this, let's move on to the next board to look at part B of this question. In this question, we are looking at this quadratic equation looking somehow unique, with the leading term having a coefficient of 3. So what do we do in this scenario? So we take a look by copying it down here. So we have 3x squared plus 13x plus 4 equals 0. Now what we have to do here is to get a new constant, which is obtained always by pulling out all these coefficients of the leading term and the constant, we multiply them together. So here we obtain 12. So our new constant is 12. We can take it somewhere and look at two factors of this 12 that when we add should get for us 13, and when we multiply should get us 12. So these factors are 12 and 1. Now let's write this equation again as it appeared before, and we have here 3x squared. So let's replace 13x with our new factors, that is 12 and 1. Now the next one is going to be 12x plus x to obtain back 13x. So we can move on to the next constant and we write our old constant, that is 4 equals 0. So you obtain two pairs of numbers that you can also go ahead and factor. Now when you look at the first number and the second number, we have a factor of 3x. So we can pull out our 3x, then we're left here with an x to obtain back this constant or this whole number. Now the next one here, since 3x is already out, then we're left here with only 4. Let's move on to the next pair and we look at common factor, that is positive 1. So we have here positive 1, and that multiplies. Inside this bracket we have x plus 4, and that gives us 0. So here we can also collect out the coefficient of this yellow bracket, and that is 3x plus 1, and then we take one of this bracket that is identical to each other, and we have here 4 plus x, or x plus 4 give us 0. So we can again go ahead and solve this one down and say, maybe we can put it up here and say either 3x plus 1 equals 0, or x plus 4 equals 0. So let's solve these little equations, and we have here, subtracting 1 on both sides, we have 3x equals negative 1, dividing both sides by 3, we obtain negative 1 over 3 as our first answer. And then also solving the next part here, our x will result to 4. Voila, these are our solutions. So let's move on to the last one, and before moving to the last part, if you have not subscribed, please do so, as that motivates me to make more videos of this kind. So let's move on to our last question. So in this question, it is quite unique in a way that nobody can recognize that this one here is a quadratic equation until you expand. So what we do is to copy our question down here. We'll have here 2x plus 3 plus bracket, open bracket, x plus 1. So let's open up these brackets by multiplying through with these coefficients. So we have here 3x squared plus 3x equals, so we multiply these terms by terms, so 2x by x, so I get here 2x square, and then 2x times 1, we get 2x, then 3 times x, we get 3x, 3 times 1, we get 3. Simplifying these terms, we have here 3x square plus 3x equals 2x square. Now this sums up to 5x plus 3. So let's move all these terms to this side and simplify it over. Then we have here 3x square plus 3x minus 2x square minus 5x minus 3, so give us 0. I'm trying to maintain all our equal signs in a straight line. So working out of the leading terms, we have 3x square minus 2x square. This one gives us to only x square. Then simplifying 3x minus 5x, we get minus 3x. And then we have only one constant, that is negative 3 equals 0. Fantastic. So this is our equation we're going to work on. Let's move it up here, and we have our x square minus 3x minus 3 equals 0. So our constant here is negative 3, and we look at two factors of negative 3, that when we multiply, we get for us negative 3, and if you add, so you get for us negative also 3. So what are those two factors? Sorry, I think there's some small mistake. I've just done, let's work it immediately, and that is this 3. Should have been, because when you sum up these numbers, you're supposed to get here 2. Sorry about that. So the factors of negative 3, that when we add, to give us negative 2, and when we multiply, should give us negative 3 and 1. So I use this to also replace the middle term. So here we have x square minus 3x plus x minus 3 equals 0. Now we look at the common factor here, and that is x. So into x minus 3. So the common factor here is positive 1, and we have here x minus 3. This must give us 0. So the coefficients are x plus 1, and we have here x minus 3 equals 0. Either x plus 1 equals 0, or x minus 3 equals 0. So simplifying this, we have negative 1, and here x is equals to 3. Thank you for watching up to this time. Please stay tuned to the channel to get notification for my upcoming videos in the other subsequent method of solving quadratic equation, and that is completing the squares, graphical method, and then the formula method. See you there next time. Ciao.